Hello, welcome to Hillary's Whiskey Lounge. I'm Hillary, and this is my lounge. Today, I'm filming a special Thanksgiving edition of my whiskey reviews, and today we are reviewing three. What I'm very thankful for today is Glenallachie, more specifically, their master distiller, um, Billy Walker, who acquired and bought Glenallachie from Pernod in 2017. And since then, Glenallachie has really risen to the top ranks amongst whiskey enthusiasts. I love Glenallachie. Um, they're just a straightforward, down to earth, just dependably good whiskey. So today I've got three for you, but we're going to really focus on the Glenallachie 15 today. I did pour out the Glenallachie 10, and this is actually a cask strength at 59.7%. And then here is the Glenallachie 12, which is a great standby, and this one's at 46. And they're probably about I think the Glenallachie 12 is going for, and those that are equal to it, special wood editions, probably about between 80 and $95 US. Um, the Glenallachie 15, this special occasion for Thanksgiving, I've been waiting to open this for a long time, cost $110 US. So this one's a little up there, but really for a 15 and such high quality that I know it's going to be is really worth it, especially if you are getting it for a special occasion. All right, so I did pour a couple drams of the 12 and the 10 cask strength. And in fact, I'm going to add a little bit of water to them right now so they can breathe a little bit. The music you hear behind me is Port Isaac by Show of Hands. It's a sort of shorter, more musical, no words edition of Cousin Jack, which is a very well-known song around, especially the western coast of the UK. So this is Port Isaac, no words. It's beautiful though. Shout out to Show of Hands. I know you're kind of disbanded these days, but I love you anyway. All right, so I'm giving these two a swirl. So this is the 10 and the 12 batch strength, the cask strength. Oh, my Thanksgiving guests are gonna love it when I show up. All right, so let's open up this puppy. This is the 15. I got this from my friends over at Mission in Pasadena. Mission Wines. Opens up very nicely. I was lucky enough, speaking of giving thanks, I was lucky enough to get over to Glenallachie this summer, and I got to do this hand pour, this special bottle. I don't know when I'm gonna open this, but I know it's gonna be great. This is 59.9%. Yay! And this is, let's see, I forget what casks. I think it's PX casks. But I'm waiting for a very special occasion to open up that. So, all right. So let's open this guy up. Okay, great. I love that sound. Okay, oops, I forgot to get a glass. I'll just drink it out of the bottle. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, if you're celebrating in the U.S. There's that sound. Okay, first of all, check out this color. You have to know that this is all craft presentation, so that means non-chill filtered, no color added, everything is natural. I'm going to read to you the descriptions on the back of each one of these these bottles before I take a sip, because I want you to see what the range is of the different flavors that the distillers are hoping you taste. So here is the 12. Let me do the 12 first. Okay, so nose, hints of dark chocolate, treacle, because we all know what treacle tastes like, and heather honey with cinnamon, espresso, and sticky raisins in the background. So that's the nose. The taste, marzipan, that kind of almondy goo, and orange fruit tones, followed by warming mocha, butterscotch, and grated nutmeg, which is a wonderful smell. So that's the 12-year-old. That's those are the things you're supposed to be nosing and tasting. Here's the 10. So this is the batch strength. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Okay. So here's the batch strength. Hints of mocha, fig syrup, and toasted hazelnuts with honeycomb, dried red berries, and a touch of molasses tart. Molasses tart. Okay. The taste, baking spices, brandied cherries, and toffee sauce, followed by Black Forest gâteau, mocha, mocha, and grilled honeycomb. I've never grilled honeycomb before, with molasses and damson plum on the finish. So we're getting lots of mocha, toffee, honey, and plum going on in these. And then here's the 15. On the nose, dark cherries, golden syrup, I don't know what that is, and sweet spices to the fore, with hints of toffee, glazed figs, and hazelnuts. So there's some sort of iteration of fig in all of these. And then the taste are heather honey hallmark, alongside orange peel, cocoa, and ginger, with caramelized brown sugar on the finish. So as you can see, um, all of these from the same distillery are going to have very similar noses and tastes and finish. But of course, something like this cask strength is going to hit you a little differently. Um, Whether or not you have added a little water, and of course, it depends on whatever cask they're using. And unless if it says sherry casks, it's probably going to be Oloroso. Um, or just sort of a generic sherry. But if there's PX, it's going to hit you a little differently. In my experience, the Pedro Jimenez casks have given me a little bit more of a deeper chocolate and deep plum taste. So, or even prune taste. So, and don't forget, I think I showed you guys this before. I did buy some PX sherry just so I could taste what that flavor that's imparted into the barrels actually tastes like. And this stuff is yeah, it's like pure prunes and chocolate sort of mixed together. It's really amazing stuff. And this was only, I think, like $30 or something. I would definitely, if you're curious about what Pedro Jimenez casks and the whiskeys that get that PX taste, if you're curious about that, get a little bit of this PX so you can see for yourself and taste for yourself what that's like. Okay, so let's start with the 15. All right, so this is without any water. Um, I I'm sure that I'm going to taste prunes and toffee and treacle and honey, toasted honey, burnt honey. My first a nose. Wow. So all of those things. If you can just, you have to just let your imagination take you away. Things that you loved. For instance, if you remember your mom or your grandma baking in the kitchen, and you might remember ginger and pumpkin pie flavors. Today's Thanksgiving. You might have some cinnamon if you remember, your mom or somebody making cinnamon rolls. So if you let your mind go and think about those lovely aromas and tastes and flavors and spices that you know and love, you don't have to agree with all of these bottles and say what they say the nose is or what they say the taste is. That's why I read you all of these. I just wanted you to see that there are so many of these suggestions that they have of what you should be nosing and what you should be tasting. But it's really just up to you what you end up smelling and what you end up tasting, which is really what it's all about. So don't worry about agreeing with those bottles or not. So I am smelling chocolate and cinnamon. And actually, this is weird, but kind of like a pineapple. Didn't the label say it was oranges or something? So maybe that's what it is. But I'm smelling more of a pineapple. And yeah, a little bit of very, very light honey. I'm not getting any earthy tones or dusky, musky, Springbank funk tones or anything like this. And by the way, Glenallachie means Valley of the Rocks, I think. And it's definitely Speyside. So yay, Speyside. Okay. Mm. Okay, that's delicious. And by the way, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so this isn't too early. And it's Thanksgiving. Come on. Sanjua. What am I tasting? I'm tasting definitely a dark, dark plum, a dark, um, almost a spicy ginger in there. Um, a little of that light fruity pineapple taste that I nosed. Um, but in a way, it's rich and deep and dark. It's got this depth to it, this complexity to it, that I think is going to be quite different from the 12-year that we're going to taste. Look at that color. That's amazing. And it doesn't say on the bottle what the casks were. So, yay, Billy Walker. Mm. There's a musician from the United States, a musician, a singer from, I don't know, the 60s or something, who made a song called In Del Rio, whose name is Billy Walker. So yay, Billy Walker. Um, so that was just good. I can't endorse this more. This is just good, solid. The mouth feels fantastic. The finish is just rich and there and coats my throat. This is so good. This is so good. And I didn't even add any water to this. So let's do that. And while that water is opening up, let's go. Let's have a sip of water and then go to the 12 year. I want to go to the 12 year next, not because of the year, but because it's not cask strength. And I do want to compare it while I've got that 15-year flavor still kind of fresh in my mouth and in my mind. Let's do the 12-year. So as you can see, it's a little lighter. Here, I'll show you, compare it to the 15. Okay, so it's a tad bit lighter. It is 12 years after all, so not aged in the sherry barrels as long. But still, 12 years is very good. Okay, so as you can see, it's a little lighter. I'm actually beginning to see a little Scotch mist form in there. You probably can't see it, but I did pour a little bit of water in here when we got started. So that was 13 minutes ago. Have I been yammering on about Glenallachie for 13 minutes? Glenallachie and treacle. Okay. Mm. Okay. Now, because I added water to this, it's a little opened up. I'm getting a lighter, fruitier nose than I did with the 15. So a little bit of sort of light flowers, some some pineapple, orange, maybe even some lemon. So for a sherried whiskey, this is very light and fruity flavored. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit of Scotch mist already there. So very light, very airy. Wow. Okay. The flavor, the taste is this so much different than the aroma. Right away, I was hit with just a deep, rich, yummy, sweet chocolate flavor. So I think one of these, or they all said there was some sort of mocha or chocolate or something, but there really, really is. There's a nice kind of mocha, very smooth. It reminds me of having, oh gosh, I was out on a piazza in Florence, and it was raining, and I was at one of these little piazza restaurants, these covered restaurants, and I had this cup of warm melted chocolate. It was one of the best things I've ever had in my life. And that reminds me of this in a very, very light, strange way. Wow. Okay. Very light, very light. So I think the comparison between the two, a lot of the flavors and the nose, this one definitely lighter, fruitier. The 12 year, um, it doesn't have that same heavier sense of like, oh, I'm having a whiskey. This 15 year is more of a serious piece here. So this is like I'm having a whiskey. So even though the ABVs are the same on these guys, so now while I've got the 12 year in my mind and in my taste, let's go back and have this 15 that I've opened up with a little bit of water. So the nose has definitely opened up. It's lighter, it's fruitier, it's sweeter, um, and I'm getting a kind of a sense of I'm smelling kind of a mocha chocolatey. It seems like this Glenallachie loves water. Yeah. Mm. Okay, very smooth. The mouth feel is still there, very mouth coating. Um, I can see legs already forming on this, even with some water added. It's got all the same notes and flavors that I tasted earlier, just deeper and more open. Does that make sense? The flavors are deeper, but they're more open. It's really good. It really has been helped by adding a little tiny bit of water. But you know what? I didn't need the water to begin with. If especially if you like that really rich, complex flavor and character to your whiskey. I would definitely say that the 15 is probably a lot more accessible to more seasoned aficionados of whiskey. The 12 is actually great for those just starting out their journey or for gift giving, especially if you don't know what kind of whiskey your recipient likes, especially because not everybody likes the smoky stuff, which I do promise we're going to get to. Linda Rowley. Um, this would be a great gift for somebody, or just to have on your shelf if you're just starting out in whiskey. This 12 year, yeah, really nice. Okay, let's do the big one. Let's do the cask strength, and this is you'll see. Oh, I think I did this already. I think I already showed you. So let me show you the back. You can read that for yourself. All of these lovely nose notes and flavor notes. Like I said, if you don't hit every one of those, don't worry about it. Taste what you want to taste. The all important water on the side. Okay, so here's the 10. This is what did I say? 50, 59, 59.7. Yikes. Okay. The nose on this, butterscotch, really deeply butterscotch, vanilla. This reminds me of the tobacco that I have back here. My vanilla tobacco that reminds me of my dad. Very vanilla-y, very toffee, butterscotch. If you like English toffee, or if you like those Heath bars with the chocolate, this is right there. This tastes just or smells just like a Heath bar. Mm, okay. So that smells delicious, and it doesn't hit you like cask strength. It really is mellow for a cask strength. Now, yes, I did add water, but this is a very mellow cask strength. Mm, definitely Heath bar, um, toffee, butterscotch. There's really, for me, nothing light and airy and flowery about this. I'm not getting any of the same pineapple-y or wow, ooh. I'm not getting any of the same pineapple-y or honey flavors that I was getting from the 15 and the 12. This batch, and by the way, this does come in batches. This one is batch 12 that I'm on. I honestly don't remember batches 1 through 10. No, maybe I remember batch 10, but I've been getting this since batch 10, 11, and then 12. So I wonder what happened to the earlier batches. They used to have this older font and older label style, and the print was hilarious. And they used to call it the Flintstones font. I should have brought out an example of that, but it was actually pretty funny. And people who love Glenallachie, I know a lot of people who love Glenallachie kind of miss the Flintstones font. It was kind of cute. So, but they decided to smarten up a little bit and get kind of serious. They even painted the outside of their distillery. It looks like a great big huge white barn with this new font style, this new label. So yes, very serious. Anyway, back to this 10 cask strength. Definitely butterscotch, chocolate. If you like stuff like that, what are those things called? Those little chocolate crushed up. I forget what they're called. Anyway, this is nice. I think I've had too much now. No, I haven't. There's no such thing. But I'm really starting to enjoy all three of these guys. Look at what I have. Okay, these are great. I wish you could see all three of these. Let me see if I can do this. All three of these together. So you can kind of see the 10-year, which is the one in the middle, um, is a lot lighter, although it's got probably the richer flavor of all of them, except, well, the 15 before I added water was very deep and rich and complex. I'm really starting to babble, but I really want to just thank Glenallachie, and I want to thank Billy Walker for just Billy, for doing what you do, and thank you for that. If anybody asks me what I'm thankful for today on this Thanksgiving Day in the United States, of course, I'm thankful for my family, my son, um, and my health, but I'm also thankful for Glenallachie and Billy Walker. So thank you. If you were good enough to watch all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. And if you could please hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and share with any of your friends, especially those who are starting to get into whiskey or that you want to get into whiskey. So everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and Slunjiva to the rest of the world, and have a great day.